Okay. Well, welcome everybody to our weekly Team Global Aloha call. This is Allison Parnes here coming to you from down south in Georgia. And so excited about this call tonight. We have an amazing guest speaker that is going to drop some serious knowledge and inspiration on us. But before I introduce her, I just wanted to cover a couple of quick announcements. So I'm just going to share my screen with you. All right. So I know we're all gearing up for Global, but just a quick reminder, Global Convention is October 23rd and 24th. Make sure you get registered. It's $199. It's going to provide 3 tickets, 1 for you and 2 extra for any guests. So you'll be able to watch the virtual live stream. And with that, you're also going to get a LifeVantage Legacy bracelet with a donation of $5 to Legacy and a $25 coupon to the merchandise store and 1 entry to the live raffles that are happening with a chance to win over $20,000 in prizes. And you get a digital workbook. So you guys, huge value for $199. And if you've, the other thing they're rolling out is that you actually can attend for free if you generate 500 PV in sales in the month of August or September. So obviously August has passed, but if you got it in August, great. You can also go for it in September. And if you've already registered and you meet that qualification, you'll get an additional $175 gift card to the store. So that'll bring you up to $200 total. So that's a really awesome value there. So that is Global Convention. Make sure to register, get together with your team to watch it together if you can. We're renting a cabin in North Georgia mountains, and we're going to have so much fun with our team down here in Georgia. So the other thing I wanted to remind you guys of is our incredible website. Thank you, Kamaili, for creating this for us. It's globalaloha.org. And, you know, I know we have a lot of Zooms happening throughout the week, and some people, you know, with the WhatsApp groups, it might be confusing, but always know if you come to our team page here, go to your calendar of events, scroll down, all of our calls are going to be listed on this calendar of events. And if you keep scrolling to the bottom, here is the calendar. So as you can see, we're here, Team Global Aloha Training. So you've got all these different opportunities to invite throughout the week. So just make sure you utilize this calendar if you forget the time of these different calls. So lots of opportunities to invite your prospects too. So those are the main announcements I had for you. And with that, let's get into this amazing training call with the amazing Master Pro 10, Rachel Pekarek, formerly Rachel Jackson, RJ. I mean, I'm so used to calling you RJ that now I'm like, is it RP? I'm like, I got to get it in my brain.
It's all good.
So I'm so honored to have her. And unless you're brand spanking new to LifeVantage, I'm sure all of you know her. You've seen her speak live on stage and our Success Mastery trainings. And she's just amazing. I don't know how the girl gets done what she gets done, but she is a leader, fierce leader, teacher, trainer, one of the fastest growing teams, if not the fastest growing team in LifeVantage. At the top of the industry, network marketing. She's spoken all over the world, just a force. And I really just have learned so much from her, watching her throughout the years. And she also just has an incredible story, personal story with her journey with her health from a child. And she shared that with us a year ago. And I just remember thinking, like, I always knew this girl was tough and had some serious grit, but when she shared her story, her health journey story, it really just showed me what a true warrior she is to be able to overcome so much in her life. And anyway, she is very busy, and I'm just super honored that she is taking the time today to just get on here and inspire and train our team. And Rachel, thank you. We are truly grateful. And I will turn it over to you to just share a little bit about this amazing industry. Why now? Why network marketing? What your feeling is about the future of LifeVantage and what inspires you. So take it away, Rachel.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to see every single one of your guys' faces. I know that this is a team that is wildly spread out, and to come together on a Monday to discuss some things that can hopefully move your business forward. I mean, that's what we're doing here, right? We're coming on to discuss tactics, strategy, mindset, something that is going to be hopefully a little bit of a gold nugget that you can apply this week to move your business forward. Thank you so much, Allison. It was so great having her on we had a vet specific call talking about Tandem and then equine. For those guys who don't know, or maybe aren't aware, equine is a huge part of my business. I was sharing with Allison that nearly $250,000 in sales comes into my team every single month. So what is that? 1/6 of my business or so, 1/5 of my business coming in from the horse world, barrel racers, horse trainers, horse therapists, hobby horse owners. It just came from a couple of referrals inside of influencers inside of that industry, and it spans now through US, Canada, and Australia. So don't forget those furry friends, even the big ones, right? A little bit of background about me. My name is Rachel Pekarek. I am in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm 35 years old, and I am a college dropout. Where are my college dropouts out there? There's always a few. Hey. And I just say that because there's a lot of you on this line that are a lot more educated with a fancy degree, and that isn't me. I actually went to school for nursing. I was a really sick kid. As Allison mentioned, I had a couple of major surgeries as a teenager, missed most of high school. And because of that, I spent so many months in the hospital. I had really bad nurses, and I had a couple of good ones. And I really love our frontline workers. And I thought maybe, I want to make money and I want to make a difference. Well, it seemed that healthcare was a secure option. You'd always have a job if you were a nurse. And I figured, wow, I could go get my master's as a nurse practitioner and I could make 6 figures. This is how I got started in nursing. I was like, what's the least amount of school I can do to get to 6 figures and still have a really good, stable, secure career path? Well, I went into nursing school and I worked, full-time in a vitamin store. Yes, for 3 years. I worked in a nutritional store, very similar to like a GNC or a vitamin. And I worked part-time as a nutritionist while seeking my nursing degree. I found out really quickly in nursing school that it was sick care, not healthcare. Again, no offense, but it just wasn't what I signed up for. And it was more about politics and paperwork. And man, I was fighting with those doctors left and right about the nutritional things that they were doing with my patients. I was like, why are you giving my diabetic patients Sprite? It didn't make sense to me. And so I decided to drop out. And thankfully, my life was really at that one of those precipices. Like, I hated my job. I was commuting 2.5 hours a day, working as a retail manager for a bipolar boss, working almost 60 hours a week. And I remember just being so miserable and not having enough money at the end of the month that I was primed for opportunity. I was ready to look for an exit strategy. And being a college dropout, you guys know at 20 years old, 21 years old, like, I didn't have credit. I didn't have experience. I am not an idea person, so I couldn't invent something. I can't lie, so I couldn't be a politician. I'm tall, but I can't play basketball. So all those things were out for me, okay? And so my friend dragged me down to a meeting about network marketing. This is back when it was all hotel meetings, guys, before Zoom, before webinars, before Facebook. And I sat in the back of the room at the Arizona Marriott Airport Hotel with my arms crossed, thinking, I don't have time, I don't have the money, and I don't know anybody. And I thought all the million reasons why this wouldn't work. Here's the power of events. I sat in that meeting for a couple of hours. I saw a bunch of guys 2 or 3 times my age, all with no hair on their head, making $30,000 a month. And I sat there because I was making $3,000 a month. And I want you guys to write this down. I got started on a failure equation. I got started on a failure equation because my mindset was, if I fail their results by 90%, I'll be making as much as I am in my full-time job, and I could work from home, I could finally get a dog, and I wouldn't have to deal with my bipolar boss. If I fail their results, if I'm just 10% as good as them. See, so much of that, like, oh, we can't do as much as Brandon Cunningham. Oh, we'll never be as great as Carrie Dickey. But let's be really clear. If you did 10% of what Carrie Dickey made, you'd be making $18,000 a month. It won't pay all the bills, but it's a start, Okay. So I got started on a failure equation. Now at 21, I did what everybody does, which you kind of go through a launch guide. I made a list. I had a whopping 81 names on my list. How many guys had more than 81 names on your list? Raise your hand. How many guys were able to throw down 100, 150, a cool 200? Maybe you guys had like 500. I had 81 names. That was every single person that I knew. And I blew through those 81 names in the first few weeks of my business. Guess how many of them signed up? 0. I put a solid goose egg on the board that first month. So much so that I blew through the warm market that I resorted to cold calling. Now I was 21 years old. I'd never done network marketing. Nobody told me that cold calling was scary. Nobody, I was not aware of that. I just started cold calling because I was like, I was in a service company. I need to get this service out to business owners. So I started cold calling business owners that were like in their 40s and 50s. Here I am, this like pipsqueak little blonde kid, just trying to sell them a business software that could, in exchange, I'd make a small percentage off of. And it was amazing because the second month after putting a ton of people in my pipeline, all cold market, I signed up to 12 people. I was like, oh gosh, this really works. Now for the next several years, I sat at a very nominal income. I call it my not-for-profit business. My first 4.5 years of MLM was not for profit because I'd make 1,000, spend 1,000, I'd make 500, I'd spend 500, I'd make $2,000, I'd go to an event. You guys understand the story, right? But in that process, that 4.5 years, that's when I got my degree. I got a bachelor's in network marketing, a bachelor's in leadership, a bachelor's in marketing, right? And I learned about team building, entrepreneurship, customer retention, relationship marketing, how to go out and network effectively because as a introvert, yes, I'm an introvert. Where are my introverts at? Right? We all like to get together quietly alone in our houses, right? As an introvert, I had to go and I pushed myself outside of my comfort zone. I'd go to networking meetings. I'd go to BNIs. I was an ambassador for the Chamber of Commerce by 22 years old, sweating through my shirt, having to talk to people that were like 50 that owned like real businesses. But I learned a lot. Finally, 9 years ago, I decided to join and really partner in my passion, which is health and wellness. This is when a deciding phone call changed my life. And it was basically a friend of mine that told me about a wellness company and said, hey, you need to meet my upline, Tara Wilson. And if you guys know Tara Wilson, she's an Elite Pro 9 in LifeVantage, and she was 7 levels high in that company. And I got on the phone with her and I said, teach me to crawl, walk, and then run. See, at the time, my best month in network marketing was about $3,000 a month after 4.5 years. She had joined that company and within 90 days was at $10,000 a month. I'm not that great at math, but she was doing a lot better than me quicker. And so I said, just grab my hand. I'll do whatever you say. I remember turning to my then spouse and I said, I will do whatever she says, even if it sounds dumb. How many of you guys have that level of teachability, of coachability? It's not that I was ultra coachable or teachable at the age of 26. I was desperate. See, write this down. There are two major motivators of change. Two major motivators of action. You either are inspired to take action or you're desperate. Which camp are you in right now? Are you inspired or are you desperate? See, inspiration often does create change. You see an amazing story, that girl on stage, those guys drawing the sticks in circles, you see the leverage, it's so inspiring. That person lost the weight, they drank the shake, they did this. But more often than not, it's desperation. It's about having, as we say, the nail being deep enough. Many of you guys have heard me share the story from stage if you've been in LifeVantage for more than a couple of years. I talk about the old dog on the porch and the fact that this young salesman would leave his house every single day and walk to work. And in process of walking to work, he went by a really old home with a really old crotchety man sitting on that porch every single day with an even older, crotchetier, that's a word, cranky old dog. And every day he'd walk past that house and the dog would be whimpering, he'd be crying, the dog would be moaning. And after a couple of weeks of this, the young salesman got so freaking curious. He decided to muster up the courage, walk up to the old man on the porch and say, hey, old man, what is wrong with your dog? Why is it always whimpering and moaning and whining and complaining? And the old man said, ugh, him? He's sitting on a nail. And the young man was so like confused. He goes, sitting on a nail, why doesn't he just get up? And the old man said, well, the nail's not deep enough. And for so many people, the reason why they do not take action is because they haven't quite hit a form of desperation. Now, I would say that in theory, the enemy isn't success and the enemy isn't failure. My enemy is mediocrity. That so many people that I know have just enough money. They seem just enough things. They throw just enough $5 bills or $20 bills in the offering bucket at church. Right? They're not that much in debt. They're not that much behind. They're comfortable. It's slim, it's lean, but they're comfortable. They're living a life of mediocrity. No influence, no impact, no legacy. And it lures you. It lures you into this false security that we just keep playing the same old song and dance day in and day out because it's not really too bad, but it's not really that great. So you're not quite desperate, but you're not quite inspired. You have to make a choice, and sometimes we can come to a fork in the road. At 26, I was desperate. After 4.5 years of failing in MLM, I needed to make a change. Why? In my previous life, my ex was an entrepreneur and unfortunately over-leveraged in the 2008 crash. He lost 3 homes, a commercial building, and a business. Thankfully, my name wasn't on any of it, but I got to suffer through it all. In 2009, I took a job while building my MLM. I worked for 1 year, 365 days on the nose at a mortgage company to rebuild my finances off of everything that we had lost. Fast forward 9 months later, we are back to zero. Why? We moved to Texas, his job didn't pan out, and we blew through all the savings that we had built over a year. And I remember sitting on that day, it was February 2011, and I had $1,158 to my name. And my mortgage was due at $1,319. I was short. I was short. And I remember praying and thinking, God, I need an answer. God, I need a solution. God, I need a vehicle. I need to make this work. I've been a failure in network marketing. I can't make it over here. I've tried, I've recruited, I've built, but it's just not working. What can I do? And I remember thinking that for things to change, I have to change. I needed to make a decision. And I decided to divorce my excuses and I married my results. I decided to be so coachable. Like, she's making 10 grand a month, Tar. I will do whatever it is that you say, even if it sounds dumb. You want to know what she told me to do? You guys want to know the game plan? I said, I need to get to 6 figures. Teach me the plan. So I want you to make a list of 200 names. I want you to make a list of 200 names. And I want you to commit to having a professional conversation with all 200 people inside of 30 days. I said, done. At this point, I expanded my network a little bit. I had a few more friends, a few more colleagues. I made my list of 200 names. Tara didn't give me a script. I didn't have a tool. I didn't even have that active of an upline, but she said, if you put me on as many calls, she goes, I want you to put me on so many 3-way calls. I want you to keep me busy. I said, okay. So I went to work. I started sending texts. I started sending messages. I started calling people, say, listen, hey, I'm launching something new. I'm super excited. We're going to create crazy momentum. I had never created momentum in my life. I manufactured a vision. I got excited. I'm like, I'm going to do this thing, right? And I'm like, I'm going to the top with or without you. I'd love for you to come along, but I'm going to the top. And that was my mindset. And in the first week, I put Tara on so many 3-way calls, she lost her voice. I mean, these were like fantastic people. They were not like MLM rock stars. This was like my ex-husband's best friend's ex-girlfriend that I had met once. This was like my old in-laws. This was like friends from like high school or whatever. Like these are just random people, right? Of the 200 people, my first 30 days, I got a hold of all of them. Not every single one went through the process. Not all of them watched the first tool. Not all of them came to an overview, right? But of the process, I signed up 35 people. Now you might say, holy cow, 35 people. You guys, you realize that that's not that great. Like that's not really that great ever. Like that's not even 20% close. And I think that a lot of you guys actually close much better. But here's the truth. After mentoring now at a high level, My team has done well over 150 million in revenue in 9 years. 150 million in revenue over probably 370,000 customers and distributors over the last 9 years. And I have mentored thousands and thousands of people. And here's the thing. Most people, they make a list of 20 and they get 3. I made a list of 200 and I got 35. See, the numbers don't really change. It's just the intensity. It's the action. It's the amount of people that are inside of the funnel. Now, over the next couple of years, I went on with that company until they ran themselves into the ground. And thank the Lord, when we decided, hey, we should find a new home in 2015, Tara's first words out of her mouth was LifeVantage. And at the time I said, oh, that little old vitamin company? I didn't even know. They were only 5 years old at the time. I was like, oh, I think they have Jeeps there. That's all I knew about LifeVantage. I was like, I think they have a Jeep program. That's it. I thought they were old and had Jeeps. And I remember Googling, because Tara wouldn't tell me anything. She wasn't ready to leave. And I remember searching and finding the ABC Primetime Report. And I watched it and I said, this thing is as old as dirt. This thing's so old. But you know what? Even if I don't build this business, I'm going to take this product for the rest of my life. And then I had an aha moment. I'd never tried it. I'd never seen anything. I'd never talked to somebody. And I had an epiphany that said, even if I don't build, I will take this. Why? Because I knew what free radical damage was. I knew what oxidative stress was. I understood the concept, and I had never knew that you could create your own antioxidants. And then I realized that if I was willing to take this product for the rest of my life, there would be a certain percentage of population that was also going to be willing to take it. Where are my lifers out there? Where are my lifers? Right? People are like, I get so upset. I set up a customer, they quit 90 days later. I'm like, I'm not after them. I'm after the lifers. I know that hundreds of thousands of people are going to come in and out of my downline. They're going to come back on their products and they're going to go somewhere else. And they're going to be like, oh, my knee pain is back. I'm not looking for them. I'm looking for the lifers. I know that a percentage of us are just going to see it. They're going to get it. They're going to want it for life. And that's why I got started. So a couple little notes so far. I got started on a failure equation. I didn't think I could hit the top. I didn't see the success. I didn't have the vision. I didn't have the capacity to view that. I was a little failure 21-year-old with no network. But I thought maybe possibly if I just worked hard, I'm not as wise as them or old as them or bald as them. But I believed that I could possibly maybe make $3,000 a month. And then 4.5 years later, when that didn't work, I thought, you know what? I found somebody who has what I want and I'm going to do what they do. See, that's a training aspect. That's a mindset thing to find somebody who has what you want and then do what they do. What does Julie do every single day? What does Daisy do every single day? These are the people you need to study. What are their habits? What are their IGAs? What are the best income generating activities? Now, I'll tell you guys that I haven't been more excited about LifeVantage than I ever have, even the day that I joined. Why? Well, we're a better company now. We're a more proven company now. We're a more updated company now. We don't have 16 studies, we have 26 studies. We don't have 6 patents, we have 7 patents. We don't just have 4 products, we have like 20 SKUs now, right? So we're growing into our identity as a company that activates and flips the switch. And mind you, me and Daisy are together on the Fab every single Thursday. And I'll tell you what we have working on, what we've been busting our butts on for convention. It is so freaking exciting. The stuff that these committees have been working on in our spare time to develop the tools, the technology, the app, the funnels for you to make this business continuously less frictionful or to make it frictionless. That's what we're working on. So I'm super, super excited about where we are at right now. I want to share with you guys some tactical stuff of what I do because most people want to know. So the last 9 years, I've made over $6 million. I've been in LifeVantage for a little less than 5 years. I've made over $3 million here so far. How many of you guys want to know what I do every single day? The mentality, the mindset, it's simple. Now, when I got started October 10th of 2015 in LifeVantage, I had experience. I had made millions in my previous company, but I couldn't recruit them. I was on a non-compete. Do you guys understand what that means? I could not touch that team. So what do you think my plan was to launch LifeVantage? I made a list of 200 names. I decided to talk to them all in 30 days. And guess what? 30 signed up. And then the next month I talked to a few more people, and then 35 signed up. And then the third month, 40 signed up. I had over 100 enrollments inside of my first 90 days. By 4 months, I was in Elite Pro 8. So to change and to rebuild at any time, you can be a month in this business, you could be 6 months or 6 years into this business. You can make the decision to relaunch. You can make the decision to go into massive action. I did the same in my Pro 9 run. I enrolled like 8 platinums that month to go to Pro 9. I did the same in my Pro 10 run. And we had Pro 10, almost 4 years to the date in the business. So I want to talk to you guys exactly what I do. The first thing that I do every single day, there's 3 things that I do. And I understand I'm going to give you a little bit of higher level. You might be a Pro 1 or 2 or 3. This may not be fully applicable to you, but I want to share this is what I do. The first thing I do every single day is I recruit. I recruit every single day. Do you recruit on weekends? Yep. Do I recruit on my birthday? Sure, heck, every day. January 2nd is my birthday. I almost work every year on my birthday. Ask my elites. We almost always have an elite call on my birthday. It's miserable. I love it. Got to start the year off, right? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I can celebrate anytime. My life is a celebration, okay? Like, I don't really need Labor Day to take off. Did I work on Labor Day? I worked all day on Labor Day. I golfed in the morning and I worked all day. Why? Because I was launching a freaking huge promotion on Tuesday to my team. I'll go to the lake on the days that the lake isn't crowded with people. That's the lifestyle you can build. You don't have to, I know we're COVID, socially distancing, things are locked down, blah, 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 blah. But let's talk about the grand scheme of life. How many of you guys want to design a life where you don't have to go to the theme park on the busiest freaking day? You can go on like a Wednesday when nobody else is there and the lines are a quarter of the size. Oh, by the way, you can pay for the Fast Pass and the VIP experiences and the Meet the Mickeys and the Minis and all that sort of stuff because you have funds to do it. But you're like, well, why aren't you going out to the lake on Labor Day? Because I'm building my legacy. So I recruit every single day. What does that look like? It means I'm having conversations. It's not that complicated. Some of you guys are like, what does it really look like? That is your brain trying to make things more complicated than this. I open my trap. And I talk to people. I talk to people in Uber cars. In fact, one of my newer Pro 2s was my Uber driver and then became my private driver because I was sick of calling Uber. I'm like, Manny, you're my driver now. You're my buddy. I'm just paying you cash, right? You never know where you're going to get an Uber. It can get really scary. And so you're my buddy. He's a Pro 2 of my business. I talk to people, even as an introvert in the grocery store or, situational networking. But mostly 95% of what I do is I talk to people online. So you can build this business online or offline or both. I choose to build my business 95% online, and it's served me well, especially in a COVID environment where we're forced to become technologically savvy beings, right? So I got a head start there. What does it look like? It means that I'm constantly promoting my business aggressively and passively. What does that look like? It might be aggressive call to actions on a post. Facebook stories, Instagram stories, etc., Facebook lives. I might be doing a hardcore business post or product post and then having a call to action. Hey, message me for more information, comment info below. I just sold 2 hair care kits. I got my hair done on Friday. Can we just talk about this True Science hair care? Hello. I got my hair done on Friday. I made a little picture about how horrible my hair was before. I've already sold 2 hair care kits and a skincare kit just over the weekend. I worked all over the weekend. I recruited all over the weekend. I had people responding under my comments. I was working them out, sending them the hair care video, following up, telling them about the invites or telling them about the ingredients, telling them about the benefits, sending them my cart. 2 orders already in. Recruiting every single day. But it also might be passively. Before I jumped onto the Zoom, if you guys want to check out my Instagram, my handle is Soul CEO. If you guys want to post that into the chat somewhere, Soul CEO. And before I jumped on, I did a quick little story about to train you guys. I said about to train Team Aloha. Why? Because it shows that I'm working. What is it that you do? What is it that you say? Like Wait, like you seem like always be on like with cool people and like you're training and like you look important. Like people are like, what is it that you do? So that's more passive. I'm not necessarily showing or saying, hey, message me for the business, but I'm showing the lifestyle. I'm showing the work. I'm showing the tribe, the community, the effort, right? So I do that every single day. I start conversations every single day. I start conversations with people. How are they? How are they doing? What's up with them? I get to know them. I create relationships. I build with a friends first philosophy. What does that mean? I want a friend in every city that I go to. Meaning, like, if, let's say, for instance, my husband works corporate. He has an amazing career with a company called Polaris. You know, the slingshots, the ATVs, the sleds, all that sort of stuff. And so he's an HR leader. So he does what I do, but on a corporate side. He manages teams. And so he might have to fly out to California. And it's so funny. I'm like, hey, do you want me to come with? And I'm immediately thinking, who could I get together with in Riverside, California? Who do I know in that area of LA? I want it to be the point where in every city, in every country, in every like major area, that I could call somebody up and I could have dinner with them. They may never join my business, but I'm creating relationships as a friends first philosophy. So every single day I recruit. That means posts. That means messages. That means private messages. That means commenting back. That means picking up the phone. That means jumping on a Zoom with a prospect to answer their questions. Every single day. When I look at my calendar, and I'm going to give you the 3 things I do every day. This is the first one, recruiting. And I don't see recruiting time. I don't see recruiting effort. I don't see calls with prospects. I recruited 3 customers and 3 distributors last month. 6 is a low month for me, by the way, guys. I've recruited over 470 people in almost 5 years. I average more like 10 to 11 a month. Every day I want to have conversations. I know that my business grows by me filling my holding tank. Write this down. What's your standard? This is the question. Every month you have a holding tank. What is your standard for that holding tank every month? Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 10? Is it 1,000 in volume? Is it 2,000? What is your standard? And some of you guys need to RYFS, raise your freaking standards. RYFS. That's the PG version. Raise your freaking standards. How many people do you want to enroll every single month? You mean every single month, even December? Every single month. I told you I enrolled 40 people in December of 2015. My 3rd month into the business in December. Skip Campbell hit Pro 10 in December. So yeah, every single month I recruit. Every single day I am in recruiting activity. I'm not just in the scroll hole. If I'm not having conversations, I'm not driving my tank forward. I need to have people in my tank every single month to show my team it's possible, to teach from moral authority, that I'm leading by example, and I use it for my own business to stay qualified, to qualify my BC2, my BC3, to help a new team member hit Pro 2 or 3 or 4 using the tank. Second thing that I do every single day is I launch new teamies. What does that look like? I am constantly working with the newest person on my team. Now, you might be just you. Maybe you're a team of 1 right now. Okay, then you focus on the first activity. Go duplicate yourself. But as to my leaders, to my Pro 3s and above, I am on the phone every single day with brand new distributors. I talked to an elite that's been in the business for a very long time, and that person came to me month after month after month after month, consistently saying, I just don't have the drive you do. I don't have the passion you do. I lost the passion. And I said, it's because you're not talking to people. You're not, like, when you get on the phone with humans and you see them and you connect and you hear their story and you hear why they joined this business and you can help them and you can equip them, you always are close to the fire. But when you're not plugged in, guys, and you're not talking to your team every single day, that's a struggle. And the third thing I do, and this might be just for the leaders, but I mentor at a high level. I am on a mentoring call almost every single day with one of the up and coming leaders on my team. 30, 40, 60 minutes, diving into what it is that they need for a breakthrough. That's my favorite part of the business. I always joke I'm a highly paid life coach, marriage coach, debt coach, nutrition coach, spiritual coach. Like, that's what I do every single day. So those 3 things, like, those are my daily habits. And they They absolutely compound over time. How do you go from pro nothing to pro 10? It's a million in volume, split 40, 40, 20. It's not an easy road, but you do it one day at a time. You do it one recruiting call at a time. You do it one launch call at a time. You do it one mentoring call at a time. You do it by going and building a new team and then raising up and finding and identifying the leaders inside of that organization. Repeat. See, I want you to understand that part of network marketing is mastering the mundane. This business isn't sexy. The check is sexy. The options are sexy. The choices are sexy. The autonomy is sexy. I do what I want, when I want, where I want, with who I want to do it with. I got married at COVID wedding, a not so socially distant elopement in May in the middle of lockdowns at a mansion in St. Paul with my new husband and about 17 of our closest, our family members and our two best friends. And we got married, and because travel is pretty much banned, we're like, well, you're working from home right now, you're virtual, let's just start going places. So we hit Park City twice. We went and did a 7-day RV trip all through South Dakota and Mount Rushmore and Custer State Park and Devil's Tower and all of that. We did a lake house in northern Minnesota, one of the prestigious lakes up here, rented a cabin for the week, just worked for the week there. Last 2 weeks ago, we spent a week in Nashville. I'm sorry, not Nashville, Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area in the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee, working our businesses from the comfort of an Airbnb. Why? Because we can. Because we can. Now, it's not just about the glitz and glamour, guys. It's not just about the things that you can have. And in fact, like I look around, I have a beautiful house, but it's probably not as nice as most of your homes. Probably not as expensive either. I live pretty simply. My husband and I both drive 2011 SUVs, both paid off. Like, I can afford any car I want. I don't want it. I love my car. I leased my 25K My LifeVantage and I bought a 2011 Range Rover. I love my car. I have 4 Louis Vuittons, all gifts. Never would ever buy one. You'll never see me pay $1,800 for a purse. Never. But what do? I built an orphanage in Belize. It feeds 50 to 100 children every single day, called the King's House. I have helped free and rehabilitate 150 children outside of human trafficking and sex trafficking, rehabilitating them, teaching them the word of God, giving them nutrition, teaching them skills like crafts and art so they don't find their way back to prostitution because that's all they know. Being able to come to the aid of local food banks, not to toot my own horn, guys, because you guys know I don't talk about this on social media. I talk about human trafficking. I don't talk about my generous donations. I have been able to make large checks to local food banks that, because of the crisis that we're facing as a nation right now, have seen 50 new families a week added on to their food rosters because of the unemployment. 50 new a week added on. They don't have enough meat. They don't have enough supplies. They don't have enough food to be able to write the check. So I don't know what inspires you or how desperate you have to be able to start taking this business serious. I'll end with this. If you've seen my speech on breakdown or breakthrough, it was a close that I did. I think it was like Kansas City EA, maybe a year and a half ago. And I did that talk because I had gone through a period of about 18 months of just hit after hit after hit. In recap, Dad got diagnosed with dementia. My soul dog, who I'd had for 11 years, died suddenly. The same month, I found out that I was infertile, and the only way to have children would be through IVF. Started that process, developed a life-threatening complication, one that needed surgery. Because of my past medical history, it wasn't a simple surgery. It took 5 months to find the best surgeons in the state to combine their schedules to be in the operating room, 2 surgeons at the same time to do this surgery on my ovary. Oh, and in the meantime of all this, my marriage imploded. So I'm waiting for surgery. My marriage implodes. I start mediation. I have a life-threatening surgery. I'm on my back for 7 weeks, fully, they fully opened me up, laparotomy, 8-inch open incision. I couldn't walk. I was nauseous for weeks. I couldn't talk. Well, this is right at the time that the hair care launched. I remember I didn't even do a call for my team. It was just nuts. So it was absolutely crazy. Went through a 7-figure divorce. Oh, by the way, at that time, I thought, I'm divorced now. I probably should move back home to my parents from Arizona, which I loved, to Wisconsin. God's like, move to Wisconsin. I'm like, no, I don't want to. I like it here. I'm just getting settled. I just got divorced. I live my house and my cute life and my friends and my hiking. And God said, move. So what do? You say, all right, God, I'm going to move. I find a house. I get a rental truck, get all packed up. We head off. 24 hours later, my dog dies on the road. My new little baby puppy dies. And I remember thinking, you gotta be kidding me. I've gone through so much the last 2 years. I finally get to Wisconsin. I unpack. We go to Ireland for those that came on the trip with us to the global incentive trip for Ireland last year. I come back from Ireland, an amazing, amazing trip that LifeVantage gave us. And I start choking on food. I couldn't even swallow food. And then I started losing my voice. I do a call like this, and within 5 minutes, my entire voice was gone. So I couldn't eat. I couldn't talk. I had to take an entire month off of, I couldn't do my business, guys. And I was like, how much more? God said, give me your dad. Give me your dog. Give me your health. Give me your marriage. Give me your dog. Give me your house. Give me your voice, your tool. What? And in that time of all of that stress, because I had done the recruiting, the launching, the mentoring at a high level, because I had built and dug my well before I was thirsty. In that same process, my check went from 50 grand a month to over $80,000 a month in that time. In the same process where I am in the pit, in the valley in my life, in the time where I had worked network marketing for 12 plus years, and now I got to sit back, still working, still doing it, but I got to see network marketing work for me. See, here's the guarantee in life. If you're not currently in a challenge or just coming out of a challenge, guess what is right around the corner? A challenge. That's called life, my friends. And I promise you, if you just trust me, if you just trust these leaders, if you just do what they say to do, even if it sounds dumb, you will be there on stage, closing out an event one day, bringing the power down on a Zoom, dropping the mic, explaining how you did it and you built it. And when life decided to deal you a raw hand, you had the community, you had the income, you had the autonomy because you did what you said you should have done. That's what I'm so passionate about, guys. I think about the millions of people that have been affected by the economic losses this year. Many people who haven't worked in 6 or 7 months, like my uncle, have been financially devastated and bankrupt because of this. And I think, what if they had just heard? What if somebody had just called them? What if they had just taken a look? What if they had just ran with this? If they saw it and they got it? Guys, we have a gift. Guys, in closing, do you believe it? Do you know it? Do you know that we have a gift? I don't care who's the CEO. I don't care what's going on with the company. Nothing's changed for me. I know these products. Like, I know what they do. I know what this income has done for my family. I know the mouths that it feeds. I know the impact that we're going to make. We're just getting started. Do you know that we have a gift? People ask me what motivates you every single day. We have a gift. And we have a responsibility to bring it out to people. It's not about creating millionaires. Some people will become millionaires. But helping a lot of people rediscover hope. And to have a vehicle in their life that they can create the hope that they're really destined to have. So, Allison, that's really my message here today. I didn't really read my notes.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Can I get some amens? Can I get some amens up in here? Woo! Rachel.
Read my notes.
I'm like goosebumps all up and down my body. That was incredible. Oh, thank you. That was so inspiring and just Yeah, I mean, I'm just at a loss at this point. I mean, it's just the comments rolling through. Everybody is completely inspired, and you had us here, like eyes glued. Took tons of notes too, and I think you're so right on. It's just the belief in what we have, and knowing that it's selfish not to share this, and the impact. Thinking so much bigger than ourselves and what we can give, and about other people and about the world, and that's just incredible too, what you're doing, with your charities and things. So
Well, and Dr. Wayne Dwyer, which I'm not necessarily a fan of, but he has a great quote, and he says, "In the morning of our life, it's all about me, and in the afternoon of our life, it's all about we." And when it's
love that.
from you, it's okay if it's you selfishly, because 9 years ago it was about me. It was about getting out of my mess. It's about getting out of 100,000 in debt. It's about I didn't want to be the charity. Guys, you can't donate to charity if you're the charity, right? I knew I never wanted to be broke again if I had anything to do with it, any say of it. But then the flip happened, that it became about we, it became about others. And that's what I see with the most successful people, is that they're able to get outside of themselves, the fear of rejection and ridicule and failure. And they say, you know what, screw it. I'm just going for it. I don't care. Some will, some won't. So what? I'm on a mission. I have a goal. I have a dream. I have a gift, and I'm going to share it regardless. And it's that wonderful servant detachment that we all need to emulate.
Awesome. Well, girl, thank you so much. Guys, I hope you got some value. I know you did. I know we all did. And thank you for joining us. And I hope everyone has a wonderful week. Let's go do it. Let's do it.
God bless, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.